Hello everyone. Good afternoon everyone. This in this meeting we will discussing about listening and vocabulary. But before we start, I wanna ask you one by one. So please kindly open your microphone and introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is JJ and I'm 15 years old. Thank you.
Where do you live, JJ?
Right now I'm at Serpong near Aeon.
Okay. Okay, enough with JJ. Next person, please.
Hello, my name is Pansyaran and I'm 15 years old. I live in Sutra, Tangerang, and I would like to apologize that I cannot open my camera because I have some internet connection issues. Thank you.
Okay, it's okay, Sharon, if you cannot share.
Okay, hello, my name is Sharon Kemur. I'm 15 years old and I live in Bintaro.
Oh, that's super ya, Bintaro. Okay. Uh, if we may know, where are you from and what is the culture from your place, your ethnicity or whatever? Please tell us.
Um, my ethnicity is Chinese, and for this specific one is from Cantonese and Hokkien. So there are a lot of culture that mix that I cannot explain which is the one, but in broadly speaking, Chinese culture is basically a strict, especially in family, because you are expected to be a good kid, and there are differences between female and male children in a family, because male children are expected to work and female children are expected to be a household wife. But in the recent years, that culture is getting faded away. And the second one is, do not put a chopstick right above our eyes. That means you are wishing that that person died. So that's it. Thank you.
Okay, Gigi. So before that, lately you telling me you are from Cantonese and sorry, what Cantonese and
Hokkien.
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 So can you tell me what's the difference between yeah, between Cantonese and Hokkien?
From what I know, Cantonese people uh, job are uh, in general they are a woodmaker or a carpenter, and Hokkien people or Hoklo people, I don't know what are their job, but there are difference in their language. But I only know about the Hokkien one.
Oh, so the main difference between them is the language. Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, JJ, for your explanation. Next person, please. Sharon.
Okay, so I'm from Pontianak, West Kalimantan. and my ethnicity is Chinese. In my family, we usually speak in Teochew, which is a branch of Mandarin of Chinese language. And one culture I can explain is that during the 15th day of Chinese New Year, we usually celebrate it big at Singkawang, West Kalimantan. We hold a lantern festival every year, and there's a lot of festive activities there.
Okay. So, what do you like the most about your culture? Is it about the Lantern Festival or whatever? What do you like the most?
I think I like the most is that the food, I think, and the lantern parade is also very interesting every year because it's very big and a lot of activities that I cannot explain one by one, but overall it's very exciting to be part of.
Oh, it sounds kind of fun, yeah, Sarah. Okay, okay. Okay, so last student, please.
Okay, my ethnicity is Chinese and I'm from Manado. My family don't stick to Chinese culture anymore, but we do still stick in Manado culture. Like for example, the most popular one is the food. We eat fried banana with sambal with chili. I think that is really interesting because in here people usually don't eat fried banana with sambal. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so from I heard from my friends, he is also from Manado, Manadonis. Is it right? Manado's food is all Manado food is spicy. Is it right?
Yeah, for me it's spicy because I cannot handle spicy food.
Okay, yeah, me too actually, but I like spicy food, but not too spicy. Okay, next slide. Okay, before we go any further, I will introduce myself first. My name is Vincent Samuel, but you can call me Sir Vincent, and I'm accompanied by my friend Roger Koresy. Please, Roger Koresy, introduce yourself to others.
Okay, thank you, Sir Vincent. My name is Roger Koresy. You can call me Sir Roger.
Okay, thank you, Roger. So this is our material for today, Indonesian culture. So I wanna ask to you again, do any of you know a little bit of Indonesian culture? If anyone wants to answer, please kindly turn on your microphone. Any volunteer?
Maybe Indonesian culture is um, Padangese food like rendang and ayam pop like that.
Okay, so I will explain more about the Indonesian culture. Indonesian culture is focused around the community with the hierarchical structure. Indonesians believe in the concept of gotong royong, or in English we say mutual assistance. and mufakat or consensus. And the national motto in Indonesia is Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, or in English we say Unity in Diversity. And Jam Karet, or in English we say Rubber Time. This means it highlights the cultural attitude that life should not be rushed. Everything has its time and place. Most Indonesian people are indirect when they communicate, so as not to offend the others. The same is expected when you communicate, as even loud voices can be misconstrued as shouting, which can be real cause of malu, or in English we say shame. So it is better to highlight an issue privately and softly during your tour of Indonesia. Much of the language is communicated non-verbally, so pay attention to body language. This is an important part of the culture. Indonesian culture is molded through a long interaction among the original indigenous indigenous customs and numerous external influences. Indonesia is located along ancient trade routes between the Far East, South Asia, and the Middle East. Hence, Indonesia has been influenced by many religions. There are Islam, Hindu, Buddhist, Confucius, and Christian. Cities are the business center. They are a multifarious culture, salad bowl that is pulled apart from the original indigenous cultures. Insistence of the integration of Islam with Hindu include Abangan belief. The Abangan are Javanese people who are Muslim and practice a much more syncretic version of Islam that the more orthodox country. Abangan are more inclined to follow a local system of beliefs. Their belief system integrate Hindu, Buddhist, Kaharaganism, and Animism, intermingled intermingled with art, music, and pencaksilat, an umbrella term for a class of related Indonesian martial arts. The Western the Western world has influenced not only Indonesian culture in science, technology, and modern entertainment such as television, film, and music, but also the political system and issues. Indian culture has been particularly influential in Indonesian songs and films. Dangdut is a genre of Indonesian folk music that is partly derived and fused from Indian and Arabic to lesser extent Malay and local folk music. Despite the influence of foreign culture, some remote parts of Indonesia still retain their dangerous and unique culture. The indigenous ethnic group of Betawi, Esmat, Dani Dayak, Toraja, and many others are still performing ethnic rites, custom, and wearing their traditional clothes. Indonesia has more than 700 ethnic and racial groups, of which 90% are Malay and indigenous, 5% of Chinese and 5% of minority. Now we're going to talk about music of Indonesia. Though there are many types of music in Indonesia, the famous is gamelan, which is the traditional ensemble music of the Javanese, Sundanese, and Balinese people. Used to play in turbars and made up predominantly of percussive instruments. Nowadays, all genres of pop music are sung in the national language, Indonesia, or in the language, or in the local language. In addition, popular style such as keroncong, campursari, and jaipongan are common. Next one is the language. The official language is Indonesian, and the currency is rupiah. The Indonesian people are composed of various ethnic groups, or with the Javanese, which is the largest ethnic group with about 40%, followed by the Sundanese with 15%. The political sphere is, to be said, dominate with Japanese. Now we're gonna talk about religion. 86% of Indonesia are Muslim and the rest is Christian, Hindu or Buddhist. Islam has found its path to Indonesia by Muslim sefarers. Indonesia gained independence from the Netherlands on August 17, 1945 and recognized in December 27, 1949. Indonesia is the most populous Muslim country in the world and Shafi'i faith is dominant. Indonesia has always been proud of its tradition of the religious tolerance and its constitution guarantees religious freedom. Tabut ceremony. Tabut is the one of the main traditional ceremonies in Indonesia. It's the local manifestation of the remembrance of Muharram among the Minangkabau people in the coastal region of West Sumatra, particularly in the city of Pariaman, Bengkulu, Aceh, Gresik, Banyuwangi, and some other parts in Java. In Sumatra, this ceremony is called Tabut in Java. Muharram is called Surab. In Aceh, Muharram is called Hasan Hussein. In Padang, in West Sumatra, it's called Tabuik or Tabut. Art. Now we're going to talk about art. The art of painting in Bali has a tradition and background. The contract of local artists with the European painting style took place in the 20th century. Nowadays, of course, in Central Java, batik drawing techniques of one of one of Indonesia's most ancient methods are increasingly being used in painting. Cuisine. The cuisine of Indonesia has been influenced by Chinese culture and Indian culture, as well as by many Western culture. However, in return, Indonesian cuisine has also contributed the cuisine of neighbor countries, which is Malaysia. The last one is Indonesian Film Festival. The Indonesian Film Festival or FFI, is an annual awards ceremony organized by the Indonesian Film Board to make cinematic achievement in the Indonesian film industry. The awards was first held in 1955 as the Pekan Apresiasi Film Nasional. It changed to Film Festival in 1973. The Film Award is the Indonesian equivalent of the Oscar in the United States. Sorry, wait a second, please. All right, in this slide, we will discuss about what makes up culture in Indonesia. On your screen already three new vocabulary that we will learn today. There are ancestor, diversity, and consensus. The first one is an ancestor. Ancestor is a person who served as an influence or model for another one from mental, artistic, spiritual, etc. Or the other meaning is a person is descended and who is usually more remote in the lineage than a grandparent. The second word is diversity. Diversity is what makes each us unique and includes our background, personality, life experience, and beliefs. All the things that makes us who we are. It is a combination of our differences that shape of our view of the world, our perspective, and our approach. As we know, Indonesia has a wide diversity. Even though there are many races such as Japanese, Chinese, and the others, even though there's a lot of diversity, this is what makes Indonesia special and also a country that has a strong unity. And the last word is consensus. Consensus is a general agreement among the members of a given group or community, each of which exercise some distraction in decision making and follow-up action. Indonesia is a country that has many people, and also people in Indonesia likes to deliberation. Deliberation will complete if an agreement or consensus is reached. Okay, everyone, that's all for my explanation. Thank you for listening. And then my colleague Roger will continue. Please, Roger, take your time.
Thank you, Sir Vincent, for giving me time. So before we go to listening, I hear that from all of you, the student conversation with Sir Vincent is uh, talking about ethnics. And from what I listen, I hear I hear many of you, maybe all of you are Chinese. Okay, maybe I want to ask you some question. We are a Chinese, and you know that we are minorities, all right? And I want to ask you, what do you have an experience suffered by racism or something kind of that? Any of you?
Not directly, but my parents did.
Oh yeah, I see. Um, my family is also is suffer much because they are live in a old generation, which is there's no rules about preventing about racism. So that's why we so very lucky to live in this day, especially for the Chinese and the other uh, religion outside of Muslim. So okay, after we talking about that, we go to listening. Okay, the first of all, I will to give you explanation about definition. The definition of listening is an active process of receiving and responding to spoken and sometimes unspoken message. It is one of the subjects studied in the field of language, art, and in the discipline of conversation analysis. Okay, before we go to the next slide, I want to ask one of you again, why does listening it became the subject on linguistic? Any of you want to answer? Can open your mic.
Because we have to listen more. Because uh, the more we listen, the more we know what is the speaker message. So if we talk too much, there will be a miscommunication. So listening it become a linguistic subject. That's my opinion.
Okay, thank you, JJ, for your answer. That's definitely is right. But I will give an addition explanation about the definition of the listening. That why does listening became the linguistic subject. The listening is not important just in linguistic. It's also important in life. So there's not also when we study in everything, in every single minute. I think when we our parents is give us the advice, we should listening. So we should pay attention on everything. Okay, so we can listen and we can understanding because in the listening there's many elements. It's not just only we there's not only hearing. Okay, sometimes when we just hearing but we're not paying attention, there is no use. They're just gone. What we can that we hear is just gone because in every single minute we can hear anything. We can hear the wind, we can hear the door knock, and we can hear our own voice and many things. Sir Vincent, please go to the next slide. Okay, after we talking about the definition, now we want to talking about type of listening. Listening types can be defined by the goal of the listening. The three main types of listening most common in interpersonal communication are: first one is informational listening, listening to learn, and the critical listening is listening to evaluate and analyze, and the third one is therapeutic and empathetic listening, listening to understand feeling and emotion. Okay, we all know about if we see about the first one is informational listening. It just we can learn like we just watching the TV that we listening just for not to analyze. We just know it. Okay, and the second and the third one, this may be about little bit the similarities. So I want to ask you, in your opinion, what's the difference between critical listening and therapeutic empathetic listening? Maybe one of you can answer it. What, on your opinion?
I think critical listening is we hear someone speaking and we trying to see where is wrong, and we evaluate or tell them what did they do wrong, or what which word is doesn't really suit in that conversation or something. And for therapeutic or empathic listening, I think it's just hearing. It doesn't really say anything about what the speaker says. I think like that.
Okay, it's no problem. It has a you have a brave heart to answer. Is okay. I will give an explanation. Uh, Critical listening is when we reading something, when we are uh, hearing from the teacher, we analyze what he wanted. Okay, but it's not also deep, but not is so deep. And the third one is like when we listen to our friends that talking about his problem that I that he go through, and he's feeling hard or feel have a mental issues because the problem. So that's why I mean there's more understand the feeling and emotion. It's not just about analysis. So we just need to understand more deeply, and that's why in from the definition slide we know it that listening is not just important in linguistic; it's also important in life. Okay, so Vincent, we can continue to next slide. Okay, after we're talking about the type of listening, now we want to talk about elements and levels of listening. As I said before in the definition, there will be the elements of listening. There's not just only hearing. Okay, this is four. The first one is attention, the focus, perception of both visual and verbal stimuli. The second one is hearing, the physiological act of opening the gates to your ears. The third one is understanding, assigning meaning to the message received. And the fourth one is remembering, the storing of meaningful information. So after I read this all, probably I will ask one of you again. To this is second question. There's two questions for for the three of you. So the first question is which part of these elements is important and that we need to learn? Which one do you think?
The first one.
Okay, JJ, you can give explanation maybe or your opinion.
Uh, because because attention is the basic elements, because without it we cannot do the other parts like hearing, understanding, or remembering. So attention is like the base of all of it.
Okay, thank you for explanation, JJ. I will give an addition of the explanation. So it, the simple answer is when there is no first step, there will be never be second step, like JJ said. And when we pay attention, we will know what the people saying, and we already ready to receive the message. So it's not just enough when we just hearing, because like I would say before, if we can hearing everything from the many sound, many voices. So the first is attention that uh, the first elements that we can do before we do the listening, because we should pay attention to the other. As example, when you are looking for the PlayStation and lecturer to speaking, which one you prefer? If you want to study, you better go to the lecturers, right, or the teachers. And if we want to play the games, we should go to the game. We should play games. Okay. But that's our attention. If we study, we cannot play games in the same time because our focus will be disturbed. Okay, by that's two things. Okay, that's why we should choose one instead of two. because we cannot concentrate in the two direction. For every human, it's a heart. So from the attention, we can hearing. Okay, we decide to hearing the lecturer. So can we hearing to receive the message, to receive the voice that comes to our ear. And then after we hearing, if we not, as example, when you like the math math class and you learning about history, sometimes that we have the subject that what we didn't like. So I mean, I personally like history lesson. So when I go into the mathematics class, that it's it's hell for me. So I don't hearing well. So I mean, uh, if if hearing if we hearing the something that we didn't like, that's useless, right? So I think it's better when we hearing that we like, so we can more understanding like this the third steps. Okay, the assigning meaning to the message received. So if we like the material or the subject, we will be more better in learning. We can pay attention, we can focus all time, because we need we feel that we need the lesson from the subject. Yes, the last one is remembering, and I think this part is not so important, but I think it depends to the context. Okay, if we talk about rules from in many places, like in the bus station, train station, like in the school and the college, every people or our senior is will be telling us about the rules, like you don't smoke here in the inside of the college or inside of the school, or many things that we prohibited to not to do it. So that's why remembering, I think, is in different contexts. It will be useful. But if sometimes if you're listening something that you don't need to remembering, you have not have to remembering. So I think uh, if remembering is not in the list, it will be no problem for the element of listening. But that will be the purpose on why these elements remembering is go to this element. Okay, Sir Vincent, can you go to the next slide? Okay. After we learn listening, so I give you some practice. There is 7 question, like 1, 2. Okay, 7 question that you will be hearing the answer from the voice that I will give it, and I will give you a chance for 2 times to reply this audio, and then one of you can read this sentence with the answer. Okay. Before we go with test first to make sure that this is you can hear or not. Okay. Gue recordnya. Sorry, apology. Wait a second, okay.
Indonesia is not just a country, but a nation with a rich and vibrant culture. A culture unlike any other in the world.
Okay, can you guys hear it?
Yes, sir.
It's all clear, sir.
It is clear?
Yes.
I'm doubt if this is clear or not. Okay, but if you thought that is clear, okay, I will, I will reply it one, and I will give you a chance once again after I play it. Okay. You guys ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Okay, I will play it. So listen carefully.
Indonesia is not just a country, but a nation with a rich and vibrant culture. A culture unlike any other in the world. Its diversity is reflected in its people, its religions, and its customs. From the haunting melodies of the gamelan orchestra to the intricate patterns of batik cloth, and from the spicy flavors of its food to the towering architecture of its temples, Indonesian culture is a visual feast for the eyes.
Okay, I will reply it once, so you can answer it after this. Okay. Once again, listen carefully.
Indonesia is not just a country, but a nation with a rich and vibrant culture. A culture unlike any other in the world. Its diversity is reflected in its people, its religions, and its customs. From the haunting melodies of the gamelan orchestra to the intricate patterns of batik cloth, and from the spicy flavors of its food to the towering architecture of its temples, Indonesian culture is a visual feast for the eyes.
Okay. Now time to answer. Who wants to read the whole sentence with the answer?
Can I?
Okay, sure. Go on.
Indonesia is not just a country, but a nation with a rich and vibrant culture. A culture unlike any other in the world. Its diversity is reflected in its people, its religion, and its custom, from the haunting melody of the gamelan orchestra to the intricate patterns of batik cloth, and from the spicy flavor of its food to the towering architecture of its temple. Indonesia culture is a visual feast for in eyes.
Okay, thank you, Sharon. That's a good thing, good one. But we will see the answer in next slide. One, sir, Vincent. Okay. I think Sharon is correct. That's a good one, Sharon. Okay. We go into next slide. Sir. Okay. Guys, this is probably is if that's a final lesson for us. But before we say goodbye, maybe Sir Vincent wants to talk something to us, and maybe about reviewing or anything. Go on, Sir Vincent. Time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Sir Roger, for giving me time. Okay, students, from all that we learned today, what are you guys got from today's lecture? Anyone, please?
Um, from what I get is we listening is important subjects to learn, and listening uh, have to, I mean, listening, a person has to need a attention to it so he or she can understand it, analyze it, and then um, interpret the message. So listening is important. It's from what I get.
Okay, thank you, JJ. So, Sir Roger, please.
Okay, I think as a teacher that I will give any opinion about this lesson, because maybe many the student that have a very enthusiast to follow this lesson from the first minute until this time. So that's a very good. I think we talk about culture and listening in the same time, about the vocabulary. Sorry, in the same time, we learn about many things about our culture. That culture is not only just about the person, but it's about the cuisine and about the trademark building trademark like Borobudur Temple or Prambanan Temple that they came from across from many country before Indonesia didn't exist. So that's why I think there's many historical things that we should be learned too in a culture because its culture and history is very relate each other for me. So and I think I will give any words for little bit about the culture. I think the culture is it came from across every nation because we know that Indonesia have been invaded six or around 5 6 times. Maybe they're from European people like from Spain or from Portuguese, England, Spain, and Netherlands. That we know the most longest uh, invader in our country in back in the days. So we have received many culture that they give, and we learn until this day. So there's many historical place that in the Indonesia, like we can see, and if we know in the Jakarta, there's the Kota Tua. There's many historical statue that we can see in our eyes. So that's why I mean the culture is such a beauty, uh, especially when you talk about Indonesian culture. There's a very many things that you can talk that we cannot talk in this meeting in the whole meeting. I mean, so that's why how beauty that and how many too the the culture that we have in Indonesia, and we can also see the majorities and the minorities. There's so many because we and the Chinese people and local people. There's many kind of people and many kind of tribe like and many kind of ethnics like a Japanese and from the Sulawesi one and many province that we can find many culture from themselves. Especially when I see from Sharon Claudia, and when she said that she was Chinese, that I'm a little bit shocked because I don't see that she had a Chinese in appearance, but when she said Manadonese, and oh yes, I understand because the Manadu Manadonese is never fail. Okay, the girl is so beautiful in my opinion. Personally, it's always in every people Manadonese in my friend in my circle is always been outside of good looking like that. I so confused how they made. Okay, that's my opinion that about this lesson. There's many things that we can find in the Indonesian culture, and also from the listening that there's so many reasons that you can know that why a listening can be a lesson for linguistic because at first time it's not only in linguistic, no, not just we can learn because we do it every day in listening in life. Okay, that's for me. Probably if there's Sir Vincent have more opinion, you can say it, sir.
Okay, so Roger, I just wanna ask you about not just you but all friends here regarding to your question, sir, that you have been to Candi Borobudur or Monas or anything in Indonesia. I just wanna ask you guys, have any of you here ever gone out of town, like visit Candi Borobudur or whatever? You can tell me anything.
Yeah, I have been to Candi Borobudur a few times.
Sorry, Gigi, I can hear your voice clearly.
I have been to Candi Borobudur a few times.
Okay. Anyone else? No one? Okay, I just wanna ask Roger. Roger, where have you been when you're in Indonesia? Do you try every place, like visiting one of them?
Personally, I don't have to go there because maybe for me it's too far, and I have absolutely no time for sure because I need to do something more important than just visiting. But sometimes I just think I want to go there because I like a history very much, little in my personally. So it will be good for me if I had a time in the coming days to go there. Um, but in Jakarta, I think Kota Tua is one of them I had to go, and Museum Bahari is close to, in my place. Is that maybe I can answer, sir? Maybe we can just closing it because we have run of time.
Okay, there is all. There is all from me. Is there anything else you want to tell us, Roger?
Okay, I think it's not. Maybe today's lesson. Thank you for all of you being here and listening from the beginning till the end. And now, uh, I wish that this lesson can be useful for all of us. Okay. Uh, Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you, guys.
Bye, sir.
Thank you, sir.